Antiquity Unveiled, the most marvelous revelations of the 19th century concerning the origin of Christianity. Cosmas Indicopleustes, a Greek geographer and antiquarian. May we be blessed in the service of truth. I lived in the 6th century, and I was a traveler. I am known in connection with what is called the Adulian marble. It is claimed that this marble has inscribed upon it the life and career of Ptolemy Euergetes. Such is not the fact. I was the first one to call this to notice of the learned of my day. The real facts of the case are these. I did not know them as a mortal, but I now understand them as a spirit. Upon that marble are the keys of the Christian religion. That is, the symbols are there. The learned of today treat this marble as if it were the history of a single king, when in reality it contains all such things as the doctrine of the Trinity, the communion, the blood of Bacchus, the feast of the goddess Ceres, and all other things analogous to Christian doctrines and observances. But the Christian priesthood are blind to things which they know to be true. They will never read inscriptions right, and are dangerous to their infernal superstition. But light will be thrown upon these things if mortals do not stand up to their duty. Truthful spirits will. We want no interference by priests with the truth. Even now, in these excavations that are being made for ancient ruins, they are continually manufacturing plates in imitation of ancient ones to support the Old Testament, and their operations to be closely watched by spiritualists and materialists. No tricks are too dark for them that they think will help them to prolong their power. If the communication is thought upon and acted upon, it will do a vast amount of good. My name here was Cosmas Indicopleustes. For the account of Cosmas Indicopleustes, we refer to Encyclopedia Britannica, and I would be suspicious to see these differences in lengths to either refer to the supposed greatness or importance of the figure to the work, or to their to the information out there, if it's directly related to that, because you'd probably see a difference in that if you were looking at a real communication. And why, if this being was not a Christian, why wouldn't they refer to another calendar? And why are we looking at these dead people like they have knowledge and powers that they couldn't have in life? I mean, an ability, okay, if they're conscious after death and going around, but why are we giving them the perception that they would know better about these than the living that would pass it on, or an ability to acquire knowledge and an interest to acquire knowledge that is parallel to our own? When Cosmas tells us that the Christian priesthood are blind to things which they know to be true, that they will never read inscriptions right, that are dangerous to their infernal superstition, he undoubtedly speaks of whereof he knows, and plainly implies that they have acted upon the policy in regard to the Adulian inscription. Cosmas tells us that even now, that priesthood, under the pretense of honestly searching for the buried evidence of the truth of the Old Testament, are engaged in counterfeiting relics to bolster up the foundation of the Christian scripture. Now, counterfeiting is actually far less common than overshooting the claim. Okay, the Bible's mostly true, but any big story, you're going to find some artifact that's, it's like that Mysteries of the Bible. It turns out they knew when making that series that pretty much every story had some fallacies or some correlation to something else. That, okay, if it is true, then we would probably have to say, based on the evidence, that Marduk and Ishtar myths are just as true as Esther and Mordecai, and are that there's another, why don't we hear the real name instead of the Christian, the Greek version of the name, or the Roman version of the name, and or the English version of the name, and how does that differ from the actual name that individuals would have had? And yeah, there were some other things that we would expect if they were super into the truth. Extra details focusing on some of that, more than just repeating the Christian story over and over again. That was, for the most part, what was being said by series like that, and they're presented by real super historical things rather than anyways. But it will not avail. The truth is to be found, not buried beneath moldering ruins of mortal and perishable antiquity, but in the realms of light and truth, where dwell the truly great, good and wise of all the ages. Brethren, sisters, look up into the beaming sky above you, as you would enjoy the sunburst of living light, not adown the dark vistas of the still lingering doom of the dying and dead past. Let the dead bury its dead. Let the dead past bury its dead, and let us seek and guidance from the teachings of true, good, and wise who are before us, not from those who insist on groping backwards into the darkness that grows deeper and deeper the further it is penetrated. At last, this is to me, at least this to me seems the true way of wisdom. And the next one, Jacques Barthélemy, a French scholar, and that will be a longer one, but once this finishes uploading, I should be able to get to that.